What's cracking, YouTube? Me, I'm just chilling. YouTube. You guys are not gonna believe this. You guys are not gonna believe this because I didn't believe it. But in a way that I do, they're saying they're doing patient dumping. Yeah, you heard it right. They're doing patient dumping patients out on the street. Anyway, YouTube, let's go ahead and jump into the video and find out what the hell is going on. Yeah.
Scenes on our streets, triggering calls to the WAVE troubleshooters alleging patient dumping by local hospitals. Two different $2 million plus patient dumping jury verdicts recently in Kentucky caught our eye, but what really got our attention was where calls to our newsroom led us when we began following up on the complaints. This story begins December 1st at 5 p.m. with a phone call to our newsroom from a horrified University Hospital employee claiming security had just wheeled a woman all the way out to the corner of Hancock and Ali, just off hospital property, dumped the elderly woman out of the wheelchair on the sidewalk, and left. Minutes later, we shot video of her, still in a soiled hospital gown and slippers, breathing hard under a blanket placed over her in 36-degree weather, her stuff in a bag next to her. The employee claimed she sees this a lot. So I started watching, and on December 16th at 7 p.m., 35 degrees outside, I record 3 security guards surrounding an elderly woman with a walker, slowly escorting her out of the emergency room. She can't move fast. It takes several minutes to make it all the way to the same corner of Hancock and Ali. After they have her across the street, off the hospital property, the security guards turn around and go back. When they clear, I catch up to her, and she says she can't breathe.
This is absolutely insane. This is absolutely crazy. Now, let me tell you guys a story. So my mom, about 2 years ago, she had a very bad accident, man. Like, this guy zooms past the light. My mom was taking a left. And you know how, you're supposed to give like a couple seconds. My mom gave a couple seconds, she said. This guy zooms past the light. He ends up crashing into my mom's car, T-boning the car, and totaled the car. And he hit 4 other cars. And my mom, her whole, I believe her whole left side from her shoulder all the way down to her toes was broken. Her ribs, she had all her ribs broken on her left side. And my mom was in the hospital. Nothing happened to this guy. He didn't get no charges or anything. His insurance, he didn't even have insurance. But that's time for another story. But my mom, she ended up in the hospital. She was in the hospital maybe for like 4 weeks. And then they kicked her out. They told her that she has to go to a nursing home, And I was thinking to myself, my mom can't breathe. She had a tube down her throat. Of course, this was around the pandemic when the pandemic was still like, very high and everything. We couldn't take her. I live in an apartment. My brother stays in a house. But the only open room that he had was downstairs. And my brother has 9 pit bulls. Like, my nephew, he raises pit bulls. He breeds pit bulls, so they have a lot of pit bulls. And granted, they got a big house if they moved all the pit bulls out, but that would just take so long and stop the business and the money coming in. We were not ready for her. We needed probably about a month or 2 to prepare a place for her. And I thought they were going to keep her in the hospital for at least 3 months, at least 12 weeks. It was 4 weeks. And they ended up kicking her out without our permission, without letting us know. That she called us on the phone. Poppy, they're sending me to the nursing home. They sent her to this disgusting nursing home. Mold on the windows, mold on the mirror, mold in the ceiling. We went and got my mom, and that's just, I believe, how they're going to treat these people here. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the video and let's find out what's going on. I'll tell you guys more about the story later.
Told me that I couldn't stay on the premises.
Amen. Were you in there as a patient?
Well, I needed to be a patient because I'm sick.
What's wrong with you?
I've got COPD. I got diabetes.
So they wouldn't even treat you?
The doctor talked to me for 1 minute.
And they told you what?
That I had to leave.
What reason did he give you?
He didn't give me a reason.
She tells me she's homeless.
I've got to go because I'm hurting. I'm in pain.
I was in a car crash and it completely shattered my hip and pelvis. Right here, I got like 30-something screwed.
Matthew Hauber and his mother claim a similar story. They met us in front of Wayside Mission in the spot where they say he was dumped in October.
Anywhere. They said, well, we can't find a rehab right now.
Linda Hauber said when Norton Hospital told her they had a room lined up for Matthew at Wayside, she checked it out.
I called Wayside Christian Mission and just to confirm, and they said no. They said, we can't do that. We can't. You know, they have beds and they help them find jobs and stuff, but we don't take medically needy people. We don't do that. And
then she says she had a conference call with the hospital staff.
the social worker said, we're going to take him to a shelter. And I said, which one? And they said, Wayside Christian Mission. And I said, well, I know that's not true because I called them and they don't take him. And then the lady said, the social worker said, well, that's history. Let's think of something else.
Hauber says the next day, her son was unloaded from a transport vehicle on the curb in the rain on Jackson Street in front of Wayside.
I thought they've dumped my garbage. I have to put out to the curb. That's how they dumped my son, like garbage.
Linda Hauber said she was in no shape to care for him at home, and she died after this interview.
They put all their stuff on the sidewalk over there. They dump them off over here on the sidewalk and get back in that vehicle and get out here just as fast as they can.
Wayside staffer Perry Lane helped Matthew out of the rain, and
I mean, man, they just hire anybody that, you know, just willing to do whatever for money. I mean, these people, they're rolling out this old lady on the curb and dumping her and throwing a blanket on her. And they said, well, we at least we gave her a blanket. That's probably what they saying. At least we gave her a blanket. But this lady, she could die on the curb. And I'm going to put up a video where a lady, she died in the waiting room. And I believe that you guys remember this because this happened a couple years ago and it had a couple million views. So a lot of you guys are going to remember this when I show you the video.
Was a daycare teacher, and to her family, pure sunshine.
She was loved by everybody. That was my baby.
But on January 2nd, her family says she became a victim of a terrible mistake. Waiting so long in the emergency room, she left for an urgent care and died. At 4:30, Ward texted her mother she was going to the hospital with chest pains and trouble breathing. According to the medical examiner, by 4:58, staff at Milwaukee's Froedtert Hospital gave Ward an EKG and chest x-ray, which showed an enlarged heart. Around 7:30, Ward posted on Facebook, something needs to be done with the emergency system. She says she was told it could be 6 hours, so she left, heading for an urgent care. She never made it.
Dispatch, 116 transporting for
At 9:25, she was pronounced dead.
And these people are going to pay for it when we die. I hope they ask God for forgiveness for all the things that they do. You know, of course we need money to live, but sometimes you got to stand up and say, no, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to roll this lady out. No, I'm going to call this lady to the back. Got to save her life. Got to give everybody a chance, not just because they have, you know, the best, I guess Blue Cross Blue Shield is one good insurance, because I have that. And I see myself, I get called, most of the time, I get called to the back way before people that been sitting there for 4 or 5 hours, which is wrong, you know?
Wayside staffer Perry Lane helped Matthew out of the rain and says he witnesses the same kind of thing dozens of times per year from hospitals as far away as Eastern Kentucky. He says they're often lied to about the medical treatment they'll receive at the shelter.
What's the worst physical shape you've seen somebody in who was dumped? This guy here was pretty bad.
Paralyzed. People that can't walk. That are totally relied on a wheelchair. Take them out, put them in the wheelchair, throw all their stuff on the and take off.
Wayside's Chief Operating Officer Nina Mosley tells me it's not uncommon. She says they're not trained medically, and sometimes they take patients right back to the hospitals.
How can you dump people? These are human beings. How can you just dump them and leave them? It doesn't make any sense to me. It's unhuman, man.
We detailed these incidents with dates and times to both Norton and University hospitals. Norton Healthcare Senior Vice President Renee Murphy responded in an email that says, in order to safeguard the privacy of patients and in compliance with HIPAA, we are not permitted to discuss specifics regarding a patient's case. There are several details to this case that may not have been communicated to you by the family. As Mr. Hauber has not signed a HIPAA release of information form, we will not be able to share those details with you. University Hospital Public Relations Director David MacArthur replied, they appear to be working on behalf of U of L Hospital. Unfortunately, the images that were provided by WAVE do not reveal enough information to track down additional details or identify whether the individuals on either day sought care from any of our team. What is heartbreaking for U of L Health staff is that we often encounter situations where patients need assistance beyond medical care. As the community's safety net hospital, the challenges are particularly even more acute when providing health care to the unhoused population of Metro Louisville. Community resources are limited, and even when they are available, many individuals that may benefit from those resources still refuse assistance. The Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act, known as EMTALA, was passed in 1986 as a federal anti-dumping law. It mandates patients who present to a hospital emergency department must undergo an appropriate medical screening examination by a physician to determine whether they have an emergency medical condition. If they do, they must be stabilized and treated, and an appropriate transfer may take place to another facility with adequate capabilities.
Juries take the hospital's obligations to.
They're not supposed to dump, the patients out like that. They're not supposed to do that. I mean, these people are beyond human. To me, they're like demonic. This is like something, like I said, it's about money. They're treating like, you see it in the movies, like when the people think they're like superior and they're already moved to this side of the town and they got all the poor people living beneath them. You see it in real life too. You can see it like, and like my father's country in Congo, there's like this little island where all the mega rich people stay, and just the little river that all the Congolese they fish in.
The residential complex is for Congo's new upper class, including the country's millionaires. Come here immediately.
They say they're my brothers. I'll give them something. Give them $50.
This is a lot. We called out to him, and he gave us $50 to share amongst ourselves.
Each fisherman just got the equivalent of about €7.
What should be done is like all the resources that the city has to like have special events and like have like special parades and stuff. Take some of that money to give like to help the homeless. Like they should put like special procedures in place. If they don't have room in the hospital, like they said, that EMTALA to take them to other facilities, and if they don't have room at those facilities, at least house them in a motel, like it can be a cheap motel. At least house them in a cheap motel for a couple days. Send a social worker over there to figure out some things to get them back on their feet, or to get them with some relatives that they can stay with. Don't just dump them like a piece of garbage on the side of the street. This is somebody's aunt, uncle, brother, sister, mom, grandmama, granddaddy. This is somebody's family member. You dump them like you're getting rid of an animal, like you're getting rid of a dog. But hey, somebody's gonna help that dog or still help that cat that person got rid of.
Very seriously.
Attorney Hans Poppe knows that firsthand. He won a $2.3 million patient dumping verdict, most of that in punitive damages, after his client, who was coming to a Lexington hospital by ambulance with a cardiac emergency, was turned away and directed to another hospital.
Juries don't like to punish hospitals.
There aren't many verdicts in Kentucky history favoring plaintiffs in alleged patient dumping cases, but this one is interesting. A $1.5 million verdict awarded in Fayette County to a difficult patient with a history of ER visits, dumped by a hospital, rolled outside in a wheelchair with taxi fare, and hours later, the man was dead of an untreated ulcer. After being reversed on appeal, another jury socked the hospital for $1.45 million.
So what that tells us is if a jury hears a case and they believe that there has been an EMTALA violation where a patient has been dumped or abandoned by the hospital, they really get upset.
Dude, like I'm worthless, man. We're throwaway. We're garbage, you know?
Now, I was contacted this week by a police officer who worked off-duty at University Hospital who says she emailed U of L Health CEO Tom Miller on March 1st about this issue and what she was witnessing, and she says she was then informed she would no longer be working there. I asked U of L about that. They say the officer was concerned about the same things they are, and they're collaborating to increase community resources for...
I keep saying this is unreal. Like, this is, I don't know. I feel like I'm living in the Matrix. I feel like I'm living in the Twilight Zone. I keep seeing things that just, to me, it just doesn't seem right. It just doesn't seem like it's real. Like, all this is like somebody taking strings and just making things happen. Like, if you guys ever play Dungeons and Dragons, I feel like I'm in a Dungeons and Dragons game. Like, they have to cause, you know, war and strife, and it doesn't make any sense how it happens. Like, you got a bad dungeon master that doesn't know how to create a story. That's what I feel like I'm in, like a bad B-rated movie. And it's not gonna end. It's just gonna get worse, and I have to stay here and watch it, you know? Hopefully not sort of like my videos. Subscribe, and also leave those comments and let me know what you want me to react to. Somebody left a comment about a song by Tom McDonald that I need to check out. I will be getting into that though. Anyway, YouTube, I'm going to get up out of here. You guys have a blessed one. Also, I just like to let you guys know Jesus is King. He is Lord, and he loves you, and he is soon to return. You guys have a blessed one. Peace.